Ladies and gentlemen, goblins and ghouls,
Welcome to Turn Off the Century.
the movie podcast exploring films from the turn of the millennium through the end of its first decade. I'm Robbie, and I'm joined by my fellow auteurs, Hunter and Sauce. Hang out as we revisit the spoofs, bangers, crimes, and chaos of an era we're still trying to understand. Today's movie, the 2004 classic,
Van Helsing.
It says a size 17, about 360 pounds, 8.5 to 9 feet tall. He has a bad gimp in his right leg and 3 copper teeth.
How do you know he has copper teeth?
Because he's standing right behind you.
The Frankenstein monster!
My life, my job is to vanquish evil. I can sense evil. This thing, man, whatever it is, evil may have created it, may have left its mark on it, but evil does not rule it, so I cannot kill it.
What are we doing here? Why is it so important to kill this Dracula anyway?
Because he's the son of the devil.
I mean, besides that.
Welcome! Turn off the century. What's up, boys? How's it going? I'm here with Hunter. I'm here with Sauce. I'm Robbie.
So anyways, I'm doing pretty good.
What's up, guys?
Man.
How's it going?
How's it going?
I was in a better mood until we watched this movie.
Yeah, we watched this awesome movie that Hunter said if we don't do it, then he's leaving the podcast. And
Then they should have let me leave. That's the thing.
And me and Robbie don't know computers, so
It's the spooky season. We had to watch a spooky movie, and nothing spookier than Van Helsing.
Oh,
the
you're right.
2004 classic. We should have done a Halloween intro, but
I should have done a spooky welcome ghouls and zombies. I don't know. Dude,
we say the same one every time.
I want to watch a movie, Van Helsing.
Look, I don't do theme parties. I don't do theme episodes. It's October, and you're lucky that I'm in the mood.
It is tough getting, I will say this, we are recording pretty ahead of schedule, and it's 100 degrees here today, so it's tough getting into the fall spooky mood, but you know what got me there? Van Helsing, the Stephen Sommers classic.
It got me into the spooky mood because I hated every second of this movie.
Okay, well,
all right. Here,
I think
look,
you're overstating it
when I started this show, I didn't want to. I specifically said I don't want this to be like a hate movie podcast because I don't really like that kind of content. You know,
your movie sucks. I hate everything.
Yeah,
I'm the angry Caucasian name show. You know,
I did not want to do that, but man, this movie is really making it tough for me because.
You know what though? It's about being important, and as much as I hate to say it, I think this movie is low-key important because it is so emblematic.
Unfortunately, you're right, and that makes me mad.
It is. It is important. I mean, this was a break point. I feel like we're entering Bush 2. Here we go. This is the start and the end of Dark Universe v 1.1 or 0.1.
Yeah,
I guess.
for how long they've been trying to do that.
Yeah, this is where they launched and failed to launch again.
Well, and not only that, I think it's just important for just the kind of future of movies in general. Weirdly enough, it's a strangely influential movie because.
In all the worst ways. In every worst fucking choice and indulgence that I can't even...
It kind of shows where movies end up in the next, 15 years. Is where we end up with that. And that's weird to say because Van Helsing kind of just was a blip on the radar at the end of the day. But it really is what movies became in the next 15 years. And it's kind of baffling.
It's somehow simultaneously a blip on the radar, but I do remember when Van Helsing was coming out, it was a big deal. It was coming
full
off the heels.
Full tentpole feature.
Yeah, it was. Let's say, maybe I should say it was a big deal. Universal was making it into a big deal. They were hanging their hat on it.
I think the executives, all the people at the studio, they went. This movie is going to feed the next few generations of everything under the Universal umbrella. That's video games, that's toys, that's movies, that's merchandise, that's all this stuff. It's going to feed our next generation. I'm sure they had several.
Everybody
sequels
wanted
planned.
a Star Wars because we were still waiting for the last one to come out, and we knew that there would be this gaping hole
Well,
that
everyone
we
wanted
would
Lord
want
of the
to
Rings,
fill.
too.
They wanted Lord of the Rings
As well, yeah, so it was
everyone
they
a
wanted the
Spider-Man.
movement.
They wanted their superhero
Pirates of the
franchise.
Caribbean,
A complete
Keira Knightley.
The Matrix and its sequels with tie-ins and animes and
Yeah.
And
all that
what
stuff.
could be better than a superhero movie and a epic movie and a like franchise movie when you could put it all into one, baby? You got monsters, you got superheroes. They did it all in one shot.
They
right?
really did do
they
it
nailed
all.
it. Nailed it in one.
Yeah, they nailed it. They nailed something.
Nailed it in one. Before Sauce gets into the recap, which I think will be shockingly shorter than it should be for a 2-hour and 10-minute movie.
Dude.
But literally, also the coward's runtime.
Yeah, I agree. Either do
Oh my
90
God.
minutes or you do 3 hours.
Yeah, you had to go.
Yeah.
You had to add a fourth or fifth act to this movie. You really needed it. But I want to talk about the director for just a sec. Steven Sommers, this guy. We're gonna be talking about this. I feel like this movie's about to get bashed pretty hard. I just want to say Steven Sommers has directed stuff that I have enjoyed, and you can tell he has some love for this stuff. Like he did The Mummy. He did a bunch of Disney stuff that I'd seen as well, like Jungle Book and Tom and Finn with Devon Sawa and
Tom and Huck,
Thomas.
yeah. But these
Yeah,
are
Tom and
the
Huck.
to clarify the live action ones. He has
live action ones, yes,
animation background.
So he was like
It's very
he was like
evident
a-
in this movie too.
So
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Here's what's funny, because he did do the Mummy movies. Even when I was at the right age for the Mummy, I never fucked with those movies. Like
Oh,
ever.
see, I love
The first one is a crowd fucking pleaser.
It
and I
is,
won't hear
but I did
otherwise.
not like it even as a kid. I remember my friend brought over the Mummy, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta watch this." And I remember we got about like 45 minutes of the way through, and I was bored, and I went, "Hey, let's just go outside and play." Like,
I like the Mummy.
Like, I never
think
cared about the Mummy
Returns is
movies.
Fun. The Scorpion King is not great, but like he's coming from a place of success, but also a place where he's been given the reins to something he enjoys because he's expressed he likes the Universal monsters, which also why I have a soft spot for these movies, because I love Universal monsters, one of my favorite properties, which is hilarious as somebody who's had to watch the Dark Universe get launched, blown up, or not talked about
So
a billion times now.
Also, I do wonder. I don't know if anyone did any research on this. They had to have been planning a Van Helsing Mummy crossover at some point, right?
Absolutely, there's no way that he.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
he was
I think that would have
making Van
been
Helsing.
the only likely recourse, considering they use all their chips on this one.
Yeah.
There is no like this will go down as like maybe not a good movie, but at least an interesting failure in that like it. I think this is excess. What I wanted to say before is like this is what happens when you take all the ambition of the '80s and none of the cocaine.
Yeah,
Dude, I
This
was
just
thinking
feels-
the exact same thing while watching it, because I'm like, it felt very much like a movie that was written in 1995 with, yeah, you're right, the ambitions of like an 80s big blockbuster.
and
But
odds
there
are
was that
I mean,
magic-
this guy's been sitting on a script for like years. Finally has the ability to make it. Like a guy that likes these types of movies, that likes the Universal movies, that probably grew up watching like not just the Universal movies but the Hammer stuff,
Right.
And the Laurel and like the comedy versions of those movies.
Abbott and Costello, Meet Frankenstein,
Abbott and
all that.
Costello Meet the that kind of stuff. Because seriously though, he because a lot of the humor you get in the Mummy is kind of derivative of those movies as well.
Totally.
So like you have a guy that's grown up on that. He's probably been sitting on this on a screenplay for an action movie with a bunch of Universal monsters since he was a kid at this point.
Absolutely.
Like this guy's been waiting to make this movie. This has been in the bank for a minute.
Yeah, like I said, it's something that you feel like Dino De Laurentiis or Cannon would have picked up in the 80s, and then the thing that could have probably saved it, which this didn't have, was the fact that they would not have had the money to actually just execute on every single conceivable idea that ever popped into his head. Like they would have been like, you have instead like 10 million to do it with, and like just get it all in there.
It's funny because we were
and it
talking
also would have
about-
flopped at the box office.
Yeah, we were talking about what could have saved this movie, and Sauce was right, and he mentioned Guillermo del Toro would have done a good job, but also, I was just thinking about it, I think Jerry Bruckheimer would have done a great job on this as well.
Yeah.
I think Jerry Bruckheimer could have made this work.
Gore Verbinski too. Gore Verbinski would have been another like prime time at that era.
Well, because
coming fresh off of Pirates, probably give him this. It would have been like
that's what I'm saying. Like because Bruckheimer produced Pirates, so I was like thinking like a good 1-to-1 analog of this movie is Pirates of the Caribbean because it's a similar kind of idea, but except that this one they were smart. They already had the ride. So they just made the movie based off the ride,
Yeah.
So
Whereas
like,
this one, you could tell Universal, like Rob, you could tell Universal wanted this to be a ride. Well, they obviously want it to be a thing because they had a video game preview on the DVD.
They had a video game preview on the DVD. They had because
a spin-off TV show already in the works called Transylvania.
I went to Half Price Books and I bought the DVD, and so that's how I watched it was on the DVD, and the special features had the Xbox. It had a CD-ROM thing that you put if you put it in your computer. It also had you can explore Dracula's castle, and then they had this one that was called like Be in the Movie, where they said that they did without the knowledge of anyone. They attached little mini cameras to their cameras, so you could like at certain scenes you could click on it and you could go and watch like. I guess behind the scenes, I didn't really understand how the special feature was supposed to work. It was very confusing because it was a camera on a camera, so you're just seeing it from essentially the same angle, but a little bit worse.
What it comes down to is as well, which is so fascinating about the 2000s as like the main focus of this podcast, is that really like just an embarrassment of riches if you worked in advertising and marketing, because it was all pre-internet, it was all pre-social media. And like they just had to actually come up with, get this, creative ways to sell stuff or creative little like things to do on set. The fact that how many movies now suddenly had entire B-roll departments dedicated to the fact that like, well, when we release this on DVD, which is our insurance policy to make sure it makes money, we need to chock fill it with special features so that way there people who say some people just don't rent, some people just buy because they're like, at the time I think $20 for a new release, but you wait a month and you can get it for like $15. Even $10 depending. During, like you just buy a special edition.
It was during the housing bubble too, so a lot of people were getting their nice new big suburban houses. They were buying a big TV with surround sound systems and all that kind of stuff. So they wanted to get like the top level.
The Magnolia home theater heyday.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like it was all part of that same ecosystem.
We need to stick a pin on something for a bonus, like a bonus series we do sometime, where we just actually go to these old DVDs that we're getting and see if we can explore some of the bonus features for like a side thing. Because
that's actually a great idea.
Fun.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Actually,
be in the movie. I want to be in Van Helsing. That's what I was thinking of when I was watching Van Helsing. I really want to be in this world more.
All right, should we just kick it off now?
Let's jump into it.
All right. So, I mean, we're discussing, if you couldn't tell by now, the 2004 creature feature from Universal, Van Helsing, directed by Stephen Sommers, starring Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, and a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
I don't know how else to say it. So, coming off the success of both The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, regardless of the quality of those, especially the second film, they think they grossed $1 billion combined internationally, which meant
dude, I like
Stephen Sommers has
I dig them.
full carte blanche to do whatever he wants to do next, and what he wants to do next is this. So he's already tackled The Mummy. We discussed that he's doing the Universal monsters. He definitely then has an affinity for Dracula, namely Bram Stoker's Dracula, including the side character from Bram Stoker's Dracula, Van Helsing, who is not the same character, I might add, in this movie. They almost kind of make him his own character. In the Dracula novel and Francis Ford Coppola movie, his name is Abraham Van Helsing, which, fun fact, it is one of the first self-inserts because Bram is a nickname for Abraham. Bram Stoker is like, well, I'm going to clearly name the coolest character after myself, made Abraham Van Helsing, who at the time is, a 60-year-old, literally just Castlevania character. In fact, Castlevania owes a lot of its inspirations to
also,
this.
If I may,
the character of a
little sidebar, Bram Stoker's Dracula, what a fucking movie, man. That movie rocks so hard.
Also, the book rules. Dracula the book is one of the first books that ever actually scared me when I was younger.
Yeah, the book is awesome. The movie's awesome. And I honestly, at the beginning of this movie, I kind of like the first 10 minutes. I will say that. I think the first 10 minutes are pretty cool, and very clearly this homage to like old Universal Monster stuff, and they're using real sets, and they have a bunch of extras, and I'm like, this is kind of neat. They're kind of just doing a retelling of Frankenstein, but
they just mix Dracula into Frankenstein. Yeah, they do the whole Frankenstein movie in 10-15 minutes and then throw
which
Dracula
is very, very funny because as much as I think it works, so just so for I'm not really necessarily imploring any of our listeners to go and watch this before listening, so we'll just tell you. The movie opens on a black and white Universal logo, which again originally was planned to be the old Universal logo before those old creature features, but they decided last minute, just do the CG one, but make it black and white. So it's an entire black and white prologue where Victor Frankenstein is on the verge of bringing his monster to life, and then now we see where this movie. Although also crowd of people with pitchforks and torches are beating his door down even before the monster is alive to create any sins, which I thought like. This is fucking backwards, and you can tell because they have to insert this line where Dracula, who is bankrolling this operation now, is telling Victor is it Igor? I can't tell
Igor,
you.
Yeah.
Either way, they're telling him like, oh yeah, these people take grave robbing really seriously. So it's like the idea that he dug up some bodies to literally Frankenstein them together has pissed these people off so much that the unruly mob has come before the monster is even born. Oh, fuck.
Just the idea that he's doing it at all is like making the villagers mad.
Yeah, and then we're introduced to what I think is straight up, hands down, one of the worst Draculas I've ever seen.
Dude. I've seen some bad Draculas. Like I've watched if there's a Dracula movie I've seen it, I've most likely seen it. This dude sucks. He is the most 2004 Dracula. Like it could not have existed any other year. It sucks. So
when everyone knows the best Dracula is Leslie Nielsen as in Dracula Dead and Loving It. Everyone knows this.
Yeah, sure.
I will say the part that makes it really 2004, and then once again relevant to this podcast, is every single attempt at what anybody tried to say was an interesting character or an interesting take on a character. It's always the same answer. It's I really thought they were like the rock stars of that era. And that's how you get this Dracula, where he's very much got the almost sort of subdued 80s goth metal hair.
Yes.
And
oh my god.
Yeah, so that's how you got your Jack Sparrows. Literally every character.
I will give him credit though. I did like him stepping through the sword. I thought that was kind of
cool. Yeah, absolutely.
There are things he does that are cool. They would be infinitely cooler if anyone else was doing them.
Who's the actor
I will say with
Dracula?
this actor, he's an Australian actor who I believe is friends with Hugh Jackman, but also had impressed the director in some role. He's an Australian actor. I literally didn't even. This is the shortest notes I've ever took because halfway through I wrote, "I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I can't do this. I don't care." I'm losing my fucking mind.
Who like went in positively to this? I just could not believe how long this movie was. It gets to about an hour in, and you're like, "Cool, well, we're wrapping up."
Yeah,
right?
we're wrapping it up.
Look at the time left. You look at the time left. It's like how I legitimately can't remember how they could have filled all this time, and then they start filling the time, and it's like, I don't understand. We'll get there. I'm sorry to jump ahead, guys.
No, fine.
Yeah. The plot, I will be honest with everybody, does not fucking matter.
It's just, they start throwing filler at you. Things just start happening. You're like, where did this come from? Anyway, continue.
All we basically need to know is that the creation of Frankenstein's monster is very important to a secret plan that Dracula has. It goes tits up. He betrays Dr. Frankenstein, kills him immediately, in which case we're now introduced to this alternate reality version where, honestly, Frankenstein's monster, I think, is the best part of this movie.
I agree with that.
So these two, Dracula and Frankenstein's monster, are kind of the dichotomy of the 2004 like reinvention of Universal and the 2000s, what would come afterwards, I'd say, because Dracula, that version of Dracula sucks. That version of Frankenstein, not my favorite. I mean, obviously, I lean towards classic Frankenstein, but
sure.
If you're going to update Frankenstein to be that kind of 2004-ish, you're bordering on steampunk era. It looked pretty cool. He's got like the electricity kind of flowing in the brain area that you can see a little bit
There's
later
definitely an
inside the brain.
idea with him, like the way he looks. It's very intentional.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's a good
And
actor.
I think they also still had to differentiate it from the Kenneth Branagh Frankenstein with De Niro, you know, where like that had a, you know, what other term, but verisimilitude to it. Whereas this one, I think, at least wanted to go in the opposite direction of like the whole, like, even though this body is alive, like he still has the flat top. He has a Iron Man electric pacemaker on his heart.
Yeah.
And he also has steampunk boots because it's like to help him hobble around. But he takes his creator to the top of this windmill where everybody burns it down, and we assume that they perish. And now we're given the title screen, and that after that, the whole thing
Just falls apart.
falls off the cliff.
Well, and I want to point out too, because again, I actually liked the intro for the most part. I thought the intro was mostly cool. I thought it was cool that he was like, "Hey, here's an homage to the old Universal monster movies." I liked the big windmill kind of thing they built. I liked the extras. The sets were kind of neat.
The sets are
okay.
cool.
Yeah, the sets were actually really cool in this movie, and the fact that they're actually using real sets for good portions of this movie is like, it is really generally pretty neat. But yeah. Once we get to the Van Helsing moments, you're just like, all right, here we go.
And I will say before we carry on with the plot, like I feel this is important. Another reason why it's an interesting episode to pick is that like Robbie remembers because we saw this together on opening night.
Yes, we did.
I was so absolutely unbelievably fucking pumped for this movie. I felt like, you know, every once in a while you feel like the universe leans out and makes something just for you. Doesn't matter if it's for everybody else; it's just for you. We're talking like peak Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
You know, he
off of X2.
He had just finished right off of X2. Peak Kate Beckinsale off of Underworld, which is very. I immediately, even as a dumb 16-year-old, made the connection that she went from one vampires versus werewolves movie to a vampires versus werewolves movie that cost $180 million. But also, so at the time, it's like I think to me at the time, it's like that's the hottest guy I've ever seen, and they're giving him long hair, and he's a vampire / devil hunter, you know, around my Devil May Cry obsession era, and then also at the time, like, oh, my hot British goth mommy, they're gonna put them in a movie together, and like it's gonna get even more gothic. They like absolutely 10,000% made for me. I rode the train. It's the one time it was the first time, or at least I don't know about the only time, I bought the entire soundtrack off of iTunes before the movie came out. I was so ready for this to be.
When we went to Toys R Us and you bought the little Van Helsing hand
Yes.
blades.
No, you got
So I will say, like,
wind-up hand
as
blades?
critical
That's
as we're
awesome.
about to get, I went into this. It's opening night. I took Robbie. I took a couple other friends, and I was just so enraptured with how, like, absolutely fucking dumb. Like, I don't think I ever like tricked myself into thinking that it was like art in any sense, but it just felt very like high octane, refused to be boring until now, and I just was like so walking out of the theater, everyone audibly like groaning and being like, that's the worst piece of shit I've ever seen, and I'm sitting there going like, oh, come on guys, like really, like a little bit of fun, can't you admit? Everybody knows sold me, but I remember like the following day, Robbie and I, we went to Toys R Us and I bought the spinning hand blade Van Helsing toys, and back as obnoxious teenagers. Oh yeah, so and then I also rented the game from Hollywood Video, and ironically, game better than the movie.
True.
And, I remember like, I picked up Robbie so we could rent the video game, and then there was this electrician working outside, and being dumb, obnoxious teenagers who just got their driver's license, I remember pulling right up next to this electrician working, rolling down my window, and go, hey man. And he like looked at me, he's like, what do you fucking kids want? And I go, look what I got. And then I start just spinning the blades, and I go, awesome, right? And he's like, actually, kid, yeah, that's pretty fucking awesome. All right, later, dude. And we just drove off.
Yeah.
Honestly, those blades are pretty fucking awesome. Like,
Here's the thing. I wrote
sad I
that
lost
down.
them.
I think the blades, they were cool in theory. I think they fucked up with like the sound effects of those blades because they're not impressive at all in the movie. The sounds, it sounds so like pitiful and quiet in the movie that I don't.
It sounded better with the toy because the toy actually had little electric sparklers on the inside of
That's
the,
right.
the dome on the back of the handles, so it would light up and like and they also it had a nice like little like chainsaw rev sound. Where I'm like, hell, fucking
yeah. Whereas in the
yes,
movie,
my
it's
guys.
so quiet and it's so just like it doesn't have any impact on it, and so it like ends up being kind of lame actually.
yeah,
I will.
They jump into those.
I will go to say it's a hard movie to watch now too, So I have some Dolby speakers in my room, so I'm set up for watching movies. While I watch it on Netflix or whatever, like maybe some of the most like worst home audio mixing I've ever heard, because every conversation scene, which like all like 10 of them that are just way too quiet, and then the movie becomes the loudest thing in the world, that I literally felt like I was the most obnoxious fucking roommate to everybody else I live in the house with, and it's like I'm sorry, and they're like, why is it important that you listen to it this loud? I'm like, it's not even important. I just have no control over it. So I found myself doing the thing where like constantly like hand on the remote to change the volume.
I said with the performances in this movie, I said they're either screaming the lines or they're just being snarky. There is like
another predecessor to the. Man. We're not Joss Whedon, but we still want to be post Marvelification.
Dude, it's one-liners. All like I wrote down. We're not there at that spot, but I just remember "too bad, so sad" and stuff like during a vampire fight. I'm like, come on, why we have a vampire saying "too bad"? So
I struggle to say. I don't think there is a single quotable line from this movie.
No,
straight up, tell me one aside from. I guess that, which isn't even something they wrote
or
came up with. You know,
there is one near the end that I did kind of like, that actually got a little smile out of me. I mean, we can wait, or I can just say it because who cares?
We'll wait if we come up to it.
Yeah, we can wait. But I know when I remember Sauce texted me yesterday when he was watching, and he just went, "Why is he American?" That's a good question. I didn't think about that.
It's the most like phoned in since Robin Hood and with Kevin Costner.
But that movie had an awesome.
So we're just not going to try. And also, like, Hugh Jackman is a theater guy. I feel like he's done British. He did Prestige just a few years after this, and it's like he can.
No, I wrote
he can
down
do that
in this movie. Hugh Jackman has regressed because I thought he just lacked any charisma or just like.
I'm gonna be honest with
anything.
you. If he had just done his normal Australian accent, he probably no one would have been like, "Wow, that's not a good enough British accent."
Dude, no one would have
cared. Like, they would have just been like, "Yeah, he's British. That makes sense."
I want to say Kate Beckinsale and Hugh Jackman. They're so lucky that they had hits before this movie, because
which is what let them how they got the roles. So apparently, when Stephen Sommers wrote this, he wrote it with Hugh Jackman in mind and would accept no substitution. And then Hugh Jackman read it during filming X-Men 2 and was like, "Let me wrap this, and I'll jump straight into it as soon as we're done like wrapping this." Yeah, so it lends itself. And the same thing with Kate Beckinsale. They obviously wanted her, but they avoided it because she just had done Underworld, and they knew that she's filming the second one. So they were getting ready to film the second one, so they avoided it. But her agent was like, she just is curious, like, because you just, like said you wanted her, and she also instantly signed on to it. Like, so something about that script had at least the two most prolific actors in it at the time.
I think there's a fun concept there. There is a fun concept.
Yeah.
When we talked about it, it is The Witcher. It's fantasy detective. It's monster.
Yeah.
It's high fantasy meets low fantasy.
Yeah.
The promise of the premise is fun in this movie. Like, you're getting, especially if you're a movie guy, which ostensibly, like, especially Hugh Jackman, he's known to be like that theater movie guy. Like, he probably loves the concept of this movie. Like,
absolutely.
It's an easy sell when you're talking to the guy who made The Mummy. It's like, okay, we're gonna do another Universal movie that's gonna spawn 3 sequels or something.
Yeah, again, I think they thought, hey, this is gonna feed generations, so like, absolutely, I want to be a part of this.
So let's just get back into the plot. We get the title card, and now we were introduced to 1 year later, which I'm like, most random fucking time jump.
Yeah, who cares?
Did not need to be that.
It's all basically good until you see what Mr. Hyde looks like. So, we're in the streets of Paris, the Empire State Building.
The Empire State Building is my favorite Parisian landmark.
The Eiffel Tower is still under construction, and Van Helsing is tearing down God damn it. Van Helsing is tearing down wanted posters because, much like The Witcher, which I almost have a feeling they just ripped off at this point.
I feel the same way.
He's both like the monster hunter that people need, but
they all hate him.
He's always, because these monsters were all people at one point, he only gets the blame for killing people. And he goes up into Notre Dame and is on the case. He's on the case chasing down Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, namely Mr. Hyde. And the second he shows up, once Van Helsing's hot on his trail and finds his hiding spot, it's like, oh.
Yeah. No, that is like the first sign of like, oh, something went wrong here.
Yep.
Because that
Played
design...
by, voiced by Robbie Coltrane, you know what I mean? Famed
Yeah, which
British
is
actor.
funny because like Robbie Coltrane is used to playing big burly guys. They could have just had Robbie Coltrane be Mr. Hyde, and it would have been kind of sick. Like,
but it was that
without the
era
CGI.
where they needed the big, impressive CGI monster, because it's like you're thinking of like Lord of the Rings. You're thinking of
Might I add, this movie came out 3 years after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, so this is not even a new fucking idea, nor even the first time this character has been used in a new way.
I didn't even think about that.
That year,
When
alone.
did King Kong come out? When did Peter Jackson's King Kong come out?
2000, end of 2005.
Okay, so this
It's
is
the
this
same
before
year.
this
Year after.
Yeah, year after. So I mean, this was just the trend of I think Hollywood at that time. It's like we needed the big, impressive CGI kind of creature that you can throw in a movie and just be like, show it in the trailer.
They forgot the part where it was impressive, though. I'll be honest.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
The key word being impressive, which this Mr. Hyde was not at all. Like it was, he looked like Shrek. Just
He
not
did
green.
look like Shrek.
Yeah.
He absolutely
Yeah.
looked like Shrek.
Yeah.
You're right.
I remember the comparison even back then. Yeah,
I wrote down that I've seen this Mr. Hyde scene probably 100 times on television. I'll just turn
What?
on I used to just turn on like a channel, like if Van Helsing was playing, it would always be this stupid scene. I just see that dumbass head like come down, Wreck-It Ralph looking ass come
Yeah.
in and just say like,
Oh,
"Oh,
God.
how's it going, Van Helsing? You shot me in the arm, dumbass."
yeah. I eat men and women and sometimes children and a whole bunch of chickens. And it's like, okay, well, I have to. I mean, he does try to give him the like, you come with me alive so we can at least like
We can
help
get
fix you.
we can get
or
Dr. Jekyll
we
out
have
of
to
you.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. Who cares?
There's
This whole
so
fight
much
scene. Who
more
fucking
of this
cares?
movie.
The other one of the
I
other
know.
things
So I mean, I just
wrote
want to
this
be
down.
like, so this.
I wrote this
Go
down
ahead.
later, but I just want to mention it now ahead of time. All the fight scenes are too long in this movie. That literally adds so much time to the movie. Like, it would be under 2 hours easily.
Which
well under
I
2
never
hours.
say because I typically watch movies from Hong Kong and I go, no, this is what I paid for.
Yeah, I want to see
But the
guys
fight
get their
scenes,
ass beat.
They're
It rocks.
so boring. They do this. The problem is they're so repetitive. They do the same thing over and over again. It's just like fight, and then they do a small thing, and then the rest of every segment of the fight, whenever it's supposed to escalate, it just is the same fight again. It just redoes the first
It's
part of the fight.
That's the
over
thing
and
about
over.
like impossible action is it requires, I call it impossible action. You're like, this movie has so much of that where people are like thrown from like genuine like crippling heights, and it sucks all the tension out because it's like, well, I know they're going to be okay because how long is this movie? 2 hours 11 minutes, and we're only 20 minutes
20
into
minutes
it. Like,
in, yeah.
Fuck. So
You know
know
you're
that
into
Van
it.
Helsing's not going to be crippled at any point, So it's like, all right, so it kind of. It sucks all the tension out because nothing's going to happen except for, I guess, Shrek gets fucked. He gets thrown off Notre Dame Cathedral, but he turns back into Hyde turns back into Jekyll right before he hits the ground, and so the
Very
police are
funny way
like,
to die,
"Damn
by the way.
you!" Yeah. Which also no splat, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, fuck PG-13.
Oh, dude,
especially if you're doing like monsters and murder
This
for
movie
nonstop
could
for
have been
2
helped
hours.
if
Like,
some dudes were just getting fucking annihilated,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it also has like full like limb dismemberment and shit like that, where it's like, okay, like commit to it or don't. What are we doing here?
I agree.
So I guess so. Now Van Helsing, mission accomplished, even though not the best way, and he returns to Vatican City, where I guess he's Catholic too. I guess they have to keep
He's-
this with
Again,
the,
I want to say,
Castlevania lore.
I think this is a fun idea that the Vatican is like they're the is it.
It's
James
Vatican
Bond.
007. It's
James Bond shit.
He's
It's
got
like,
his
hey,
own little
here's all your technology. Here's a crossbow that shoots out a bunch of bolts, and here's the grenade.
Here's
I
a
don't
gat-
know.
Yeah,
Gatling
I
gun.
love that you just fucked up your last mission, but we're gonna give you an even more important mission immediately, and then so we're. Also, this character who plays the cardinal, who is essentially him and both the Faramir, the David Wenham character, the friar, are
he's
the Q.
he's a
Like
friar,
it's the M and Q characters. I gotta say, I think this is also where like a lot of people like just tuned the fuck out. We're on one hand like cool as a concept, where it's like we know what we're doing. We're doing the whole like let's show you all your gadgets and here's how they work, and like haha, it's played as a joke for now, but later it'll come in handy.
Except he
I'm already
uses it
exhausted by
right
this
away.
fucking shit.
Yeah.
And poorly. No part. Sorry, I'm gonna go on the record and say like as much as I think. In terms of like character design, in terms of like costuming, and how good Hugh Jackman looks in the mid 2000s with long hair, like that's a hot boy, that's a hot man, you know. Like
Absolutely.
I think that sold me on most of it. Is that like he's dripped the fuck out, he's dripped the fuck out. He looks like a fucking man.
Nice haircut, yeah.
They give him like a bunch of Catholic weapons, which I'm like, sorry. We're just like I'm just gonna try to. I really this plot fucking sucks.
No, it's fine.
So they introduce the fact that like I guess some guy got really fucking beefed at Dracula, like which they've just been letting live this whole time rather than like focus a fucking concentrated attack on him. He made a vow that nobody in his family can go to heaven unless Dracula's killed. Which what a
sucks for his
dipshit
family.
fucking thing
What
to
an
do.
asshole.
What did you absolutely
die.
Which, like, I don't even know what the lore is necessarily on the Belmonts from Castlevania, but at least they know that, like, that's the family business, you know? Like,
right.
It's dirty work, but, like, that's why we have a weird grandpa. He trains us how to do this shit. And also, we're Catholic. So...
Yeah, they're the Hart family of vampire wrestling, of vampire hunting.
Yeah, so like because of their so 9 generations, their great fuck off grandfather like decided to be a dick whenever they were creating Dracula and went like I won't rest and like and not only will I not rest, my movie might be made for boomers. Jesus Christ. I'll send all generations after me to hell until one of us kills you. Never mind the fact that would be very funny if Dracula just killed them all before they could procreate.
That would be funny. Generation. I agree.
Where the hottest guy and the hottest girl in Transylvania who can't fuck are now like sorry, like
that is a big
basically
problem.
Like he's given the assignment
that you have the two hottest people.
I'm sick of talking about it.
No, it's fine. You have the 2 hottest people in the movie, and because it's PG-13 and the script won't allow it, you don't even get a sex scene with these 2.
No, none.
You don't get a sex scene.
Nobody fucks.
It's like, dude,
nobody fucks. Nobody wants to fuck. And there's sexual humor too. Like as we see, I'm just gonna go ahead and say like he's given the assignment to go to Transylvania. He gets there after riding with Friar Tuck for fucking like 4 hours.
Wait, I did
they
want
fucking
to
get to Transylvania
that scene specifically because
the
Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings shots that they get for that are very funny to me.
Oh my god, yes.
Because the movie looks like shit. And then all of a sudden it's like, here's these beautiful vista landscapes of mountains, and they're riding the horses, and it's very clearly Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings shit, but it's like, none of the rest of the movie looks like that even a little bit.
It does look
not
beautiful,
even, so...
It is, yeah, it's nice.
So, like, the closest thing this movie has to, like, sex is, like, 1 or 2 sex jokes. Where, you know, so Van Helsing arrives in Transylvania. Everyone's immediately like, these are the same people who chased off Frankenstein's monster and killed him.
Uncle Howdy is there. It's weird.
Yeah, they're all fucking mean to Van Helsing, and then the girl shows up. She's like, "Give me your weapons," and he's like, "No, I'm Catholic. I don't have to." And then immediately they're jumped by Dracula's brides, which, fuck me, man. Like okay, so Stephen Sommer actually married the brunette one of the Dracula's brides, and that'll tell you everything awesome. You need to know about why they show up in every single fucking set piece in this movie.
Dude, they're hotties, but I hate that vampire design. That that CG's on screen so fucking much, it looks so bad.
Well, and not again, like I said,
that's actually their heads just like planted onto CG bodies.
Well, like I said, this movie is all screaming or snarky jokes, and I feel like every time the vampire ladies are on screen, they're just screaming at me. Like this movie won't shut the fuck up for 2 seconds.
And this is the first. I mean, the first action scene with Dr. Jekyll. That was long, but it was like not the longest. This was the scene where. That's where I actually wrote down these action scenes just won't end because they just keep doing it again. It's just like fly, pick guy up, throw person around, land somewhere bad. You're not going to get hurt because you're being dropped from 40 feet up. Who cares? You're going to hit a roof or something.
It all has video game logic, which is cool if you commit to it, but they don't, which is what I get really fucking mad about later.
And you're like, oh, the fight scene's over, and then the sun starts coming out again. You're like, or the sun gets hidden again. You're like, well, here's part 2, which is, guess what? The exact same thing again.
They fly down.
And all the weapons, weapons with the exception of one, is shit that they give him. He just starts blowing through it all immediately to fight these vampire ladies,
and it does nothing.
And
it's useless.
He does it poorly. Like, it's why would you give him cool weapons? Yeah,
he sucks at shooting. Why do you make the guy that shoots stuff bad at shooting?
So I mean, it's just again, the weapons look cool, the props look cool, the costumes look cool, the set looks cool. Everything else is a travesty in the. Again, I was texting Robbie while I was watching it, and I go like, the problem is, and I thought this happened when I first watched it, where it does the so bad it's good again, it horseshoes or boomerangs.
Yeah, definitely.
To where like, and it actually doesn't ever happen. It doesn't even actually.
No, you hope that there's going to be a point where you can just kind of accept it for what it is and just go, all right, man, fuck it, whatever. I'm in for the ride. This sucks, but who cares? And it never happens because it just like. Again, the movie has nothing to say. It has nothing to really even do for the most part because the plot does just kind of meander for a while.
It completely lacks all agency. Like, Van Helsing's a terrible fucking main character outside of aesthetics. He has no fucking agency. He's literally constantly being told, no, you can't, and he just fucking kind of accepts it and doesn't have anything about him. He's not necessarily
a good-looking
discerning.
guy who doesn't really. I mean, we're not obviously.
He doesn't have any Sherlock autism where he like fucking
where he can go and figure
there's
things
something
out.
You. On his he can do nothing on his own. I should even mention here that goes to tell you. Yeah. So this whole fight, guess what? They fucking win. Who would have fucking thought? They kill one of the brides in the midst of it. Okay, but there's 3. So it goes to even show like there's another action scene before this. So after the Jekyll and Hyde scene, we have Velkin who's trying to bait a werewolf. Don't know why, other than I guess werewolves are bad to have.
I forgot.
It's also a key. If this movie has a plot,
it's
this
extremely
is the
important.
key fucking moment. So, Kate Beckinsale is Anna, and she has a brother named Velkin. The only other 2 hottest people you've ever seen are trying to catch a werewolf with a fucking cage. Everybody fucks it up, and the Velkin, the brother, gets slashed and thrown off a cliff and into the river, presumed dead. And it's like, oh no, okay. So this is even before fucking Van Helsing gets into town. So they're already in like pretty dire straits. They have one person left, and Dracula has to be killed before their entire families just get sent to hell for 9 generations. I don't, man, shit, fuck. I'm so fucking angry. I thought I wasn't gonna get mad. I thought we were gonna do the I hate movies thing, but I'm like,
this movie is not like, it's not a fun bad. It's not. It's one of those things where it's just. Nothing works.
I think it's fun bad to some degree. I couldn't do a fun bad movie for 2 hours and 10 minutes is my thing. I can't like I can't it's fun bad for me, but it is so long. It is just so long, so it makes me so hyper aware every time a scene is going long and you're like, this didn't need to be here. This action didn't need to go this long. This scene didn't need to exist. This character didn't need to exist.
Legitimately, I think I was starting to fall asleep a couple of parts of the movie. Like,
This is about the part where I got out of my watching chair and I just got into bed. And I was like, and I'm also I'm drinking 8% IPAs, being like, this will get good if I force it. And I think I also.
You should have dug out
quit taking notes.
the hand blades and just kind of squeezed them for a while and just make them smooth.
I wish I still had them. Fuck. I'm sorry. I'm trying to even
This episode's gonna be hilarious.
Sauce, do you want me to take over for a bit?
God.
I can actually
Damn it. Can you remember what happened? That'd be great. That would be so good.
Yeah. Let me take the.
All right, let's see.
I haven't done this before. Let's do it. Let's mix it up. You know, it's
right.
special. It's Halloween. It's Halloween.
This is a Halloween time. This is Halloween antics.
Let's mix it up. Yeah. So we get to the town. They do the fight. They get through like the worst shooting ever, and he's so Van Helsing is kind of not clear with Anna. Like Anna doesn't want to. No one there trusts him. They've got a scary gravekeeper that they don't want. Like no one wants anything to do with him. and he's not very clear about why he's there either at that point. I don't think he's just kind of hanging out there. They know he's there for some reason, and they're also mad at him for killing the vampire because they're like, no, the Dracula only takes his share, or whatever the fuck
they say vampires only
two
eat
people
when
a month.
they're hungry.
They only eat when they're hungry, and they only eat their fill. And then it cuts to Dracula, and he says the exact same thing. He's like, we only eat our share. We only take what we need. We never take more. And he's doing like a I don't know, like a Curb Your Enthusiasm skit, walking on the walls to his wives, and they do the. I need to point this out. When they stretch their mouth out and do that thing with when they scream, I hate that. I hate that effect.
I think that's a 2000 CGI thing because
it's one of the worst looking vampires.
It was that era where they were really trying to impress everyone with like, oh, CGI is the future, that kind of thing.
But also, I'm not more scared by something that can just open its mouth wider. Like, I want to, like, I don't know. I hate to fucking be mean or ever use the term normie, but like, it's like, I guess for the average person, that's like a fucking like, oh, that imagery is scary, even though it's straight up worse than PlayStation 2 graphics, which was the style at the time.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look great. No,
I will say the only time I think it ever worked at the time was Guillermo del Toro's Blade 2, where those things were like they had an air of maybe I need to go revisit. I could be completely wrong.
Right.
But I remember being like, oh shit, that's fucked up. Those are gross.
We need to watch Blade 2. That one.
Yeah, I'm down for Blade 2. Blade 2 is awesome.
Yeah, no. So anyway, this when I say that he knocks out women, essentially that's what he has a talk with Anna, and then surprise knocks her out with some kind of sleeping gas.
I wrote that down. Then, he drugs women?
It's really weird.
It is weird that he just
sprays her in the face with the thing.
I'm going to use my zombie knockout gas on women so they don't fucking nag me, man.
And again, does not tell her the plan, doesn't understand, just apologizes. We don't know the plan. And then she wakes up. It doesn't show him doing anything at this point. She just wakes up in a dark house, her own house, I guess, walking around, sees a door or window open or something like that, sees some paws, and is like jumped by essentially her brother. It's the werewolf, but it's her brother. He got scratched by the werewolf on the way down the cliff, so he's still alive. She's shocked he's alive. We're not shocked he's alive. Obviously he's alive. He got scratched by a werewolf. And he says something. He gives her some information about like Dracula or something like that. I don't remember what it was. It was so there was like a conversation about
it doesn't matter.
It literally doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. The thing there is that it's her brother, and then Van Helsing comes in and is like trying to fight the. Essentially, he's used her as bait. Is what they do. They kind of set it up.
That's what they try to tell us, but I don't really.
Which doesn't make any sense. How did he know? How in the world did he know that her brother was a werewolf? It doesn't matter. This literally doesn't matter. But
I did want to say that I wrote down here. I said this movie somehow looks both cheap and expensive at the same time.
It's because the sets look so cool. The sets look at least a little expensive, but it's all done with this kind of shitty CGI. The CGI doesn't look
what'll really blow your mind is guess who did the fucking 80% of the CGI for this movie?
Who?
ILM.
Oh, that's
really.
I was gonna. That is
not even kidding.
Actually,
you.
It's just. I think it's just a sign of the times.
It is a sign of the times.
A lot of movies look like this. A lot of movies look kind of bad.
By the time episode 2 is out, episode 3 is not out yet, and it's like, that Lucas is using that as like his here's my showcase for why you should continue to use ILM. But also it's like now movies are so special effects laden that, like I said, 80% of it, because there are at least 4 other studios that had scenes lent out to them, which also I think lends to the fact that there isn't a lot of consistency. Sorry, I have to drink.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat. Don't worry.
Don't worry. You only slightly sound like a cartoon alcoholic right now.
and then back in my day, when we had our own Van Helsing,
Well, folks, Van Helsing has drawn us off the wagon.
He's fallen off yet again.
Famously sober. Famously sober.
So, her brother visited as a werewolf, tells her about the plan. They essentially are kind of figuring out that the Frankenstein... Essentially, the core tenet is Frankenstein's whole thing about getting life was because Dracula wanted to have Dracula kids. They have like pods of vampires that he's going to use to give.
Okay, so do those girls give birth to the pods? Do they give birth to like dead babies that they put into the pods? Do they like it's a?
It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I will say they look like the pods from Alien.
I was gonna say,
they
look like the alien pods, and they were trying to do something with it, but then this is when the little babies hatch out, right? The little baby Draculas.
Yeah, so
essentially he goes to the castle.
Werewolf is working with Dracula to be like, let's do a test run on a person to see if we can use the Frankenstein machine to bring life to goo pods.
Yeah, you see that Igor's there from the Frankenstein days. He's kind of like the new scientist for him. There's these steampunk Oompa Loompas running around. Whatever. They go to the castle. They hang out with. They kind of figured out, and essentially Dracula and Van Helsing have Dracula knows who Van Helsing is. Van Helsing's like, how do you know? There's this kind of like history there. They kind of teased it earlier with this ring that
again clearly hoping that they can make some spin-offs or sequels.
Yeah, they're begging to fill in the gaps here. They really want to be able to have lore. They're inventing lore for this.
So I want to say this movie reminded me. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but this movie reminded me a lot. Remember when Cowboys vs. Aliens came out?
Oh God, yeah.
Yes, but I didn't see it.
No, neither did I. No one saw it. But Cowboys vs. Aliens reminded me a lot of this movie, and the fact that I feel like this was like an industry plant movie, because I was a big comic book collector at the time Cowboys and Aliens came out.
I know what you're going to say.
And their whole thing was, they were like, hey, this movie is based off a graphic novel. Now, again, I was a comic book reader. I was a collector. I was friends with people who read comic books. I had never heard of Cowboys vs. Aliens ever in my life. And there was a comic book store I'd go to by my house, Jeffrey's Comics in Gardena. Rest in peace, miss you. And I remember talking to the owner there and going like, yo, what is Cowboys vs. Aliens? He went, I don't know. The movie studio just sent us like boxes of this of issue 1 and they can't sell. And I learned that.
Yeah, I fucking wonder.
And I learned that to say that this movie was based off a graphic novel, they just hired a guy to basically make an issue 1 so they could legally say it's based off a graphic novel. And it just made me think of Van Helsing in the sense of just like, they wanted this movie to be something more so badly. It was like an industry plant movie, you know? So it's like, yeah, let's put it out there. We'll put the toys and everything. Like, there's already lore. You know the lore. And that's what I feel like Cowboys vs. Aliens was. And it's just like... Yeah. It's just so empty. It's so empty.
With Van Helsing, it's weird to have a movie like this that is so respectful of certain parts of, like, there is lore here. Let me do, like, a whole 15-minute intro in black and white that pretty much sums up an entire lore dump from Frankenstein, and let me just invent new stuff for the rest of this movie. That's weird. Like, they
like,
obviously...
I love the God of War games, most of them.
Sure.
And I like the idea of, like, you just take... Look, it's in the public consciousness, at least. Like, you know all these Greek characters and stories. And they didn't all exist at the same time, you know what I mean? But it's fun to do the thing, like, let's just put them all in the fucking same room. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like doing homework because you already have a frame of reference. Which is why I kind of respect it.
This doesn't feel like homework, but it just feels like they're just jamming it in.
No, I'd rather do homework.
I would absolutely. Yeah. I would write an essay any day of the week than watch this damn movie.
Okay, I would need an essay about this movie.
This is the heartbreaking part of it, is that, again, I was talking about it with Hunter not too long ago, but, like, I remember renting Grosse Pointe Blank from a Blockbuster video with my mom when I was a kid, and, like, absolutely not only, like, loving that movie, but, like, definitely stealing bits from it and inserting it into scripts when I got older, or definitely, like, things I did when I was a teenager where I was pretending to be John Cusack, and I was like, oh, that movie, it must be really good because it had this, like, profound effect on me. And I watched it a week ago, and I was like, it's maybe okay. You know, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have revisited it because now it's like tarnished it. And I feel like I'm having that with this, where, again, at the same time, I recall when me and you saw it together as well with a group of friends, like, I was like, everybody was really mad at me because it was my insistence that we all go see it. And I was like, oh, like, I knew it was dumb, but I still had fun. And I don't know how I was having fun at the time, other than I was a very stupid child.
I think you
or a very
just
stupid
wanted it
teenager.
to be
Like,
fun, and
Yeah.
you can will things like that into existence even when it isn't.
And at that time, Kate Beckinsale, again, like I said, is like the hottest a girl can be to me,
Absolutely,
and she's
yeah.
goth in every movie I see her in. So I'm like, yes, thank you. This is it's again, like I said, for me. It's
They made the
genuinely
movie
for
for
me.
me.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna push through this part. So essentially,
Yeah.
this is also the spot where I'm like, well, so we're really we're starting to wind this down. We're starting to get to like a climax, and then you look at the time, and there's an hour and 10 minutes left
Yeah,
in the movie.
dude, it's a whole other
essentially,
movie.
they get to Dracula, or I guess it's Frankenstein's castle, whatever. It's like the castle.
It's
They
just
get
the
to where they're
castle.
trying to do the experiment to essentially bore all these vampires.
That's
And it
right. They're
actually
trying
successful-
they're trying to raise Frankenstein so that all the electricity goes through him and goes into all the pods. So then the pods come to life.
Well, they don't have Frankenstein yet. They do the experiment without Frankenstein, and it wakes up all the vampires, and they're minion vampires. They're just little guys. They're like gremlins flying around, and they're really fucking with the town. And
The bats in famous lore are his children then, and that is like what they're going for. It looks
yeah,
like.
essentially.
yeah.
And they have a bunch of the little vampires. They're little goofy goblin vampires running around the city that are screwing with people. And then they're having a Dracula fight with Van Helsing. That's where he kind of fills him in on some of the. He doesn't really fill him in, but he
also,
definitely
a
implies
fight
like,
that
hey,
again goes way too long.
doesn't matter. It's so long. It's the same thing over and over again with the same. It's you can literally cut all these fights in half, and
Yeah.
they would be just fine. Not just fine. They would be kind of boring, but they would be fine.
But it would
They
end
just-
soon, and you go, okay, whatever. We can get past this.
the movie would be over in an hour and 45 minutes or an hour and a half,
Yeah.
which is fine, which would be perfectly acceptable. But this fight goes on too long. The little baby vampires go do their thing, and then they just randomly die, and it kind of ends the fight. Dracula and them are like, we failed. What's going on? Igor's like, I guess I'm not as good a scientist as Frankenstein. And then Kate Beckinsale and Van Helsing come across Frankenstein. He is still alive. Up until that point, you're assumed he's dead. Obviously, he's not dead. He's Frankenstein's monster.
Sorry,
He comes
I'm just gonna tidbit real quick.
Yeah.
Something missing from this movie with all the Universal monsters is this is where Stephen Sommers wanted to put in Creature from the Black Lagoon to also make a cameo,
Interesting.
but they decided against it and they just never filmed it. But that's why that set has a lagoon next to it. Is
Okay.
he was supposed to be watching over Frankenstein and make sure he's okay. Okay.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, because there's no other reason. He's just kind of hiding at that point. And he tells him, essentially he's the secret to the thing. Since there's no Dr. Frankenstein anymore.
He's the key.
He has,
He is the
Robbie
MacGuffin.
said. Yeah, he's literally the physical embodiment of a MacGuffin. He explains that he's the conduit, like Robbie was saying. With him, they'll be able to keep him alive. And he's one of the coolest characters in the movie, because he's the most Catholic character period. He's very
The guy who's never heard of it.
He
Go
gives
figure.
my favorite performance when he's getting dragged through the party and he starts quoting the Bible.
yes.
It made me laugh really hard.
Oh, he starts doing
It's-
the
he's
prayer.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yea, though I walk
So-
through the valley of shadow of death. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, this is where you're like, cool, we found the MacGuffin, we got the explanation, let's wrap it up, and then movie number 2 starts. This is Van Helsing 2.
Yeah,
Electric
this is
Boogaloo.
Van Helsing 2,
We
you're
are
right.
we are starting a second movie. It's the next hour of this movie. They do this whole thing where like, okay, now we got for some reason they're just like, okay, well, Frankenstein's the thing. We got to get him back to Rome, and you're like, what? Why? Okay.
Why?
And
Yeah.
so they load him up into a
wagon.
carriage and wagon. They get a horse carriage set up, start trucking across, and they start doing one of another Peter Jackson montage where it's like flashing between a map of Europe and then the carriage going through the woods and then a map of Europe.
Also,
and the
I
next
want to
scene
point
they're
out
going
at this point too, Kate Beckinsale is just kind of there. She isn't really doing.
I mean,
she's not
she
even-
is the main character, though. She's the main character.
Yeah, because
I
it's
think
her and her brother, but like
she's the only one who has fucking stakes. Why does Van Helsing have to do this other than fucking
Just
the
he's
cardinal
told
told him to? He doesn't. He's not invested in these people. He clearly doesn't give a shit about her.
yeah.
Oh no,
Like,
it's crazy. And you get to finally another scene of action, which, hey, guess what? It's gonna last too fucking long. And he's
knew?
being chased by vampires. They get they have a fight with him on the carriage, and they do every little trope you can possibly do. Throw him on the horse, and then he's off the horse, and he's thrown back onto the carriage, and it's literally just they pick him up and throw him on a spot, and they pick him up and throw him on another spot,
in this movie,
and then they pick him up.
Pick up a guy.
Every vampire action scene is a video game.
The clever reveal isn't clever at all. It's just like, okay, so you just wasted my time. Like, there was no stakes.
Oh yeah,
there was just a waste of fucking $10 million.
And then it exploded, and then it stabbed
shit,
everyone.
You're right, Robbie.
Oh my god. Fuck, you just made me realize when we do our own Dracula movie, we have to put as the tagline on the poster, raise the stakes. We're done.
Easy.
See, damn, silver lining. I know I come off as really pessimistic and an alcoholic, but like I have aspirations that we can make things better, and this episode is not helping, except for that part.
As Sauce alluded to, there were the lack of stakes. He's the decoy carriage, obviously. The other carriage is there carrying Frankenstein, picks him up, they go off the cliff, they kill a second bride because she apparently has wings but can't fly away. She opens the door and is like, stakes, and gets shot like a stake grenade blows her up. And
which again,
she
fun
gets
idea
killed.
For a video game. I think a stake grenade is actually an awesome idea for like a vampire hunter
sense.
Video game.
But the fact
Play
that it doesn't
Bloodborne.
blow up until the thing hits the ground and she's able to fly, you're just like, get out of there, dude. You
just
fly
go away. Like, what are you doing?
You don't have to have you don't have to emote about the stakes. You can just get out
and also
of
she gets stabbed to the fucking church or whatever, and her death scene takes forever.
Everything takes forever, man. Everything
She's
forever.
waiting there, and the sun is coming out, and it's like she's supposed to disintegrate, and it just takes so long, and it's like, can we just kill her?
It looks like a fucking Snapchat filter, dude. It doesn't even like.
You're right.
It does. You're not wrong.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm talking about.
The stretching mouth
20 year
looks like
later
a Snapchat
technology,
filter,
but I'm
too.
also like, man.
But
stretching
no,
mouth
you
of
look back at
vampires,
movies in this
100%
era, like we were I asked when King Kong came out. King Kong only comes out like 2 years later. There's great CGI in this era. There is some really good, like, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, fucking
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Say what you will about the movie, but Pirates 2. Pirates 2 is legit. I'm still fucking floored by that shit. And again, done by ILM. When it's like, I just think like there's the fact. Again, this movie is, to its credit, overly ambitious. It is maybe one of the most ambitious movies ever made. In that, like, I think they just went ahead and did it anyways and hoped that it would all come out okay. And it didn't, and it doesn't. And then they also forgot to maybe, I don't know, write 4 more drafts of the script to, like, tighten it down to a good hour 45. Enough time to where, like, you're locked the fuck in and then you just want a little more. And you can even, like, do the whole thing where, like, other characters show up. Like, let's just make it, look, Dracula's the villain. Maybe Frankenstein's monster's the villain in the next one. Maybe the mummy's the villain in the third one, if we're really gonna. But, like, everything is also, it's just too much. And it's Robbie and I were having this conversation about how it feels like, he said to him, it felt like it was all made by committee. And I'm like, contraire, mon frere. Like, it's quite literally the opposite. It's like, I think this is what happens when you let one person just straight up carte blanche, and which is why they don't do it as often as they do anymore. Like, so on one hand, you could put it all on Stephen Sommers, but you could also put on the fact that, like, someone should tell him no, and that, like, here's just because the Mummy 1 was the sound script doesn't mean that all this stuff needs to be here. Man, like, you don't have to do it all in one swing, because then we have no sequel.
And this part of the movie, that's what I'm saying. Like, so the plot up until this point, up until right before this, essentially up until where you get to the first, like, patch of baby vampires being born, it wasn't great. Like, certain things were long, but it at least had a plot that was driving to a spot. Like, here's a beat. Now we just start doing stuff. On the way to Rome is when you just start, like, things just start happening, and you're like, why is, like, so what happens is that they have the decoy, they get the carriage, they keep going until they get to, what is it, like, Budapest? Rome? No, they get to, they're getting to Rome. I don't think they're in Rome.
Did they get to Budapest?
Something like that.
I think I fell asleep during this part of the movie. I really did.
They're somewhere in Europe. They're not in Rome yet, but essentially they get and he gets bitten, right? Yeah, because he gets
he gets bitten by the werewolf.
The werewolf is there in the carriage fight. He gets bitten by it. That's a big deal because he's going to become a vampire. He's going to become a vampire. He's going to become a werewolf in the next 2 days. So they get to that. They get to where they're trying to get to essentially, and there's suddenly like a masquerade ball, which we don't know what. Again, it doesn't make any sense. Things are just happening. They're big
Again,
planned.
it's like set pieces were designed without like script connecting it. It's a big problem in video games too. Is like you can tell like because the actual set pieces take so long to design that they're like that had like we're gonna have a this scene, a this scene, a this scene, a that scene.
Well, I think about
kind of
in,
write the script around it
in Uncharted 3 when you do the big boat set piece, which is a really cool set piece, but it's one of those things where you go, why are we on this boat in the first place? You just get captured, and it's like, well, they clearly thought of the set piece before the game.
I did miss something there. It's that Kate Beckinsale had been kidnapped. That's why they were switching out that's why they were.
That's why they were switching out the Frankenstein.
But again, though, it didn't. We don't know why there's a masquerade ball. It's just there is a masquerade ball for some reason. He got ahead of them.
It's Halloween. It's Halloween, and that's why we're doing this episode.
Spooky,
but also that's why like they're like, we're vampire. We have to. We like Loki are like obligated contractually.
We have to do it.
Like, you never get to see the sun again. You never really like
told us we have to do this.
And their big brilliant plan, Van Helsing's brilliant plan to stash Frankenstein is to throw him in a crypt in a world where monsters really exist.
Who gets him out? Who gets him out? That's what
they knock him out again. He does the exact same thing you do with Kate Beckinsale, but with Frankenstein's monster. He's like, sorry, and like, but instead of like spraying him in the face, he like blows a dart gun at close range for some reason in his throat.
That scene made me laugh too because I love that he just picks up like a big cross that he's honestly pretty fine at carrying it himself, and he puts it in front of the door, and he goes, "That's enough." That's like Frankenstein's monster can't get out of that.
he's like, how will he get? What if he gets out? He's like, he won't get out without help from the dead. And then you see a hand. Essentially, Dracula has undead Oompa Loompas. They definitely use little people in costumes running around doing.
Is that who gets him out? Because I'm like the crypt, the top of the tomb lifts, and we see a hand, but it's genuinely like a gender neutral hand. Is it a woman? Is it one of the brides?
No, it's one of the
zombie.
It's his because when they're carrying him in, it's the zombies carrying him. Those little Oompa Loompa dudes. He just has an army of undead people, which you should probably.
What I'm saying is, I don't think this movie has the fucking foresight to like be. Who cares who brings them in? I don't think it's consistent.
It doesn't matter. They don't give a shit
for a fucking second. No.
I'd agree with that.
So that's why I was like, wait, is this another character we haven't been introduced to yet? And then I realized that I'm drunk on a fucking Thursday afternoon, wasting my life. But continue, please.
So they bring in so they don't need to do the trade because they've got Frankenstein and Anna's. They very sexual scenes that are not going to have any sex because it's PG-13. Dracula's seducing.
Well, I just want to point out the one character who has sex in this whole movie is the Friar.
True.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
Oh, they already had that, dude.
And then he also watches cartoons. He also watches cartoons in 1888.
We totally skipped that. It's in earlier at that same scene where they have the baby vampires. He saves a girl. She's like, how can I ever repay you? He whispers into her ear, and she's like, oh, I didn't think you'd do that. He's like, oh, I'm a friar, not a monk. And then kind of flash forward, they've obviously had sex, and
and then he looks at the painting, and
he looks at the painting that was hidden, and the painting essentially has two knights that just start fighting, and it's a cartoon. It's just a cartoon. It's a CG cartoon.
And then he falls backwards, and he's like, I saw a painting, and it moved, and you go, what are you? That's the most. We didn't write this at all.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
We forgot to write a movie, and so we just gotta let's just throw this in here. Yeah, we need some sort of exposition somehow.
Apparently, what it means is, and it's coming up pretty soon anyway, so I'm just gonna mention. Apparently, what that meant was vampires and werewolves fight each other and are enemies.
I should mention in this
a werewolf has been. This is again where they just start throwing shit at the wall because the entire movie a werewolf has been working for Dracula, and then he explains this later and is like, yeah, well he's like got him like hypnotized or he's got him cowed, but if one ever has the free will to like fight back and be the cool werewolf, then he'll be in trouble.
I will say the creative liberty they take is that nothing that we formatively think of that can kill Dracula can kill Dracula. He doesn't die from stakes. He doesn't die from Bibles or crosses. Like nothing can really like hurt him. But the reason he watches the cartoon is that, like, oh, if a fucking werewolf goes fucking aggro, he could bite and rip him apart and hurt him bad enough to kill him, which I guess makes sense. I don't know why.
I don't really know why that makes sense.
He's literally, like, allied with the fucking devil. Sure. Werewolves have nothing to do with the devil. Werewolves have only to do with fucking... anyways, fucking... It's almost cool to, like, take creative liberties.
Yeah,
it's cool to take creative liberties. I'm not mad at it, but we do have that interesting scene where Van Helsing does fight Dracula, and he, like, the stake doesn't work, the Bible, like, it lights, or the cross lights on fire, and then Dracula's like, ooh, oh no, you know, like, and he just doesn't do anything, idiot. Like, I really wish any part of this. I just want to get to this. We're at the fucking ball. We're at a fucking ball scene.
Because we're about to escape.
So we're at the ball scene, and I remember... to Robbie's credit, he was right about this at the time. So we're sitting in the theater as 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and it's a very fantastical scene. There is a lot of, like, performers and stuff going on, and Robbie goes, "Oh, they got." So if anybody who doesn't know what Cirque du Soleil is, it's a French circus that's very, like, fantastical feats. You know what I mean? And Robbie leans over and he goes, "Oh, I read about this. They got Circus Olay to do it." And in my mind I went, this looks like the fucking Tijuana Cirque du Soleil for sure. Absolutely cracking the fuck up. I was like, Circus Olay.
I don't remember this at all, but...
Oh my god, I was like, at one point I was like, Robbie, do you know that it's French or Mexican? Which one? You gotta pick.
Circus Olay.
Circus Olay. No, man, like, if they got Circus Vargas to do it, though,
dude, that would have killed. Are you kidding me? In a theater in Southern California at that time, dude.
Hottest ticket in town if you haven't been in California.
Yeah, Circus Vargas rocks. No, I also the ball scene. I want to say how short-sighted their fucking plan was. Where, like, oh hey, do you know how to swing on these fucking bars?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, but everything works out because no one's ever in danger. Like,
yeah,
none of the main characters are in danger.
As we've established, you can just fall 80 feet and be fine.
Like both in the same scene, I guess. So both Kate Beckinsale gets kidnapped, and they're like, we have to save the girl who's kidnapped. But then also, Frankenstein's monster gets kidnapped, and it's like, oh man, they just keep kidnapping our guys, and it's like, why don't you just fucking kill Van Helsing? It seems like the rest of them are pretty fucking helpless.
Problem, if we're being honest here.
And he's not even a character.
No, he's
not even a fucking character.
Barely a character.
He has no stakes. There's no reason for him to be there. There's also what fucking sucks. And what fucking sucks is that, like, look, so Velkin, who I assume is the Wolfman stand-in, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Wolfman.
He's the Wolfman.
Hunter, would you be able to tell me?
Yeah.
So they kill him to just give his powers to fucking Helsing to make him the new main character. Whereas, like, honestly, you could have taken Van Helsing out of his own self-titled movie, and it would have worked way better being about these twins who have to fight, a really impervious Dracula.
That's a story.
Yeah, and they have stakes because at the end of the day, if they die, they go to hell, and so do all of their grandmas and grandpas because of their fucking worst fucking relative, which I might have a point to make. I think it's some, like area in this movie. But no, it's like, why Van Helsing's this main character, and he's the fucking worst. He doesn't do anything. He sucks at using all the fucking James Bond weapons. He's just like, he's just hot, and he's the fucking worst. He sucks. It made me hate him, whereas before I was like, I don't want to fucking have hard feelings towards Hugh Jackman. Now I do. Now I have genuine beef with the man.
Again, there is one scene that came up around this part, because I can't remember. It's like there's the Circus Vargas scene, and then did they go to the castle, right? Like, after? Is that
yes, and it turns out everybody's like, he calls the reason they have the ball is to call a meeting of all the vampires. Like, you all got to report to the boss.
But there's the
like, you all got to do the Microsoft Teams of fucking vampires.
They're sneaking into the castle, and they capture Igor. And this is the one scene, the one little bit that made me laugh is when he's holding up the weapon to Igor, and Igor goes, wait, don't kill me. And he just goes, well, why not? And then Igor just looked at him and goes, I don't know. And that actually got me pretty good. I was like, if nothing sums up this movie, that is what sums up this movie. Don't kill me. Why? I don't know.
I don't know, man. He's essentially a really dumb version of Gollum. He takes them through the castle. So yeah, I might as well just skip to this part. The only thing in between there and that is they essentially escape the party. They get Anna, but the Dracula gets the monster. They don't make the trade. Well, they make the trade, I guess, technically, but, whatever. You also find out in that midst, essentially, that Valerius, the guy that, runs the whole cursed his family to not go to heaven,
right,
was essentially Dracula's dad, so they're all connected. Everyone's connected. Everyone's fucking connected.
Okay, so how is Van Helsing connected? So sorry, I'm still kind of lost. Where
that's what
he has Dracula's ring.
They just start throwing. This is just when you were talking about save something for the sequels. This is where it just starts throwing stuff at you. I have a breakdown.
Is Van Helsing 400 years old?
So Valerius is Dracula's dad. I have the breakdown. This one I have. Okay. I had to pull this up. This is not something I had in my fucking notes.
Okay, I'm glad this isn't from your brain. I would have lost all
No. This is I would not be able to explain this shit in a lifetime. But essentially, they go because when they go back to Anna's place, that's when they explain the whole Valerius was Dracula's dad. Dracula was killed in 1462. Then that Dracula made the pact with the devil to live again. Valerius was told to kill Dracula and gain salvation for his entire family. And he wasn't able to kill him because he's a son. And then he imprisoned him, and that's why he's in Transylvania in his own place. And then they start doing that painting thing where they can go through the paintings because that's where the
and it was missing the one piece that the Vatican had.
Yeah, that's right. That's where
that
they
was
find
the shred that they had.
They find his hideout because there's a painting behind the
which
painting,
is
a mirror.
That is such a Castlevania thing too. By the way, going through paintings and stuff, flipping around secret walls and shit. That is 100%. So anyway, that happens in between there and them invading the castle. They have to sneak into the castle. They do. Igor's essentially their golem. They find him, like he says, "Don't kill me." Why? I don't fucking know. I will betray you immediately. But they don't kill him, and he sneaks him he starts sneaking him into the castle, and then they figure out that this is the funniest one to me. When I talk about they just start throwing stuff at you, and they just start making. They're just and I appreciate again they're adding to lore, but they're just again throwing it in at the random moments of the movie. They're like, you know what? Dracula actually has a cure for werewolf disease, but that's only because a werewolf can kill him. And then that's when you find out about the werewolves can kill vampires thing, but he has a cure. So now they're like, well, and also this whole time you're on a ticking clock because Van Helsing's been bitten. This is the night of the full moon, so he's going to be locked in werewolf time.
Oh yeah, and Kate Beckinsale is fighting the other vampire lady.
Yeah, and they have her. They essentially when they're sneaking in, they kind of go off in different directions. She starts fighing the last bride. That
scene pissed me off because they did something that I hate is when they quote a better movie, and
yes.
They do the Tuco line from Good and Bad the Ugly when she's about to die and she shoots,
which is the most efficient line ever written in screenwriting history.
Absolutely,
it's most efficient. There's not a single syllable more or less that you needed to get that fucking point across.
So let's make it worse and put it in this movie.
Yeah, let's make it worse and also make it longer. And
that's what I said. They made it longer, not a syllable wasted. So let's add some extra words here and make sure that we get it across.
If you're going to kill somebody, why don't you just kill somebody instead of talking about how you're going to kill somebody and then instead I kill you? It's fuck off.
Yeah, no, I wrote down in my notes that that line specifically. I was just like that. I was like, oh come on. Don't quote better movies or reference better movies in your movie. Just don't do it because it makes me go, oh yeah, I should have watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly instead.
Yeah, it's so much better.
Yeah, it's one of the best movies ever made.
This?
Also, if you're gonna do it in a throwaway way where it's all it does is kind of enhance. I mean, it's not a movie, but Rob, you played Death Stranding too, yeah.
Yeah.
In the warehouse part with Higgs, he's telling him, he's giving his fucking game away. He's like, it just turns out if you just sell weapons for cheap, everybody will buy them, and you can throw the world into anarchy. And he just does the same as it ever was. He's not. There's no deeper meaning to it. It's just that he's a rock star,
he's
fucking
a rock star and he quotes
David Bowie style villain. Yeah. Who's quoting Talking Heads, and it's a nice little I know, I get that reference, but it isn't verbatim the same scenario,
right? Yeah,
Continue. Sorry, I just had to be like.
You've said
Kojima's the only
way
person who
more
should be making
interesting than I'm gonna say. Like nothing that I'm talking about here is going to be more interesting than a Kojima game, frankly.
Very true.
They gave you the backstory. They're like, she's fighting a bride. They're trying to get the cure. Essentially, there's like that's where she's at. She and the friar went to go get the cure, which is just like in suspended animation in some acid or some shit. And they're gonna get it to Van Helsing, who's Van Helsing's over fighting Dracula as a werewolf. This is where we get to, and this is kind of the part that punctuates something you guys have been talking about the whole time, specifically Sauce, where you're like, this character has no agency. He's not a main character. I haven't watched a movie where the main character doesn't actually have a line at all during the last fight scene that they're in.
During the climax, yeah. During the final fight.
And he never
I mean, like just here, my name is Neo. You know what I mean? Like that's something. You know what I mean? That's something.
That's a line.
Tells you, again,
tells you about
that's second most efficient line ever written.
So
it sums it up.
You're just not a character if you can be turned into a CGI animal and not have a line in your final fight. It's just
and not to mention they gave them the personal connection. Like, I guess Van Helsing is also ageless, but not a vampire, so he's kind of the thing that he's hunting. But he also killed Dracula, which is why they have he's the executioner, which is why they have beef. But
he took his ring.
What?
He shows his hand that's missing a finger, which we've never seen this whole movie, and that's where the ring came from that he's been wearing. So he gets his little.
I forgot all about this.
Yeah, the little.
Is this where Kate Beckinsale dies too?
Not yet, but yes, this is where
not yet.
She's gonna die pretty soon. They're having the two separate fights. The monster comes and helps Kate Beckinsale. They do a lot of, there's tons, I didn't mention this before, but all these fight scenes, there's a ton of, if you're not being picked up and carried by something, you're being swung on a rope. There's just swinging on tons of ropes.
There is a lot of swinging on ropes, yeah.
On tons of ropes.
Yeah.
You're trying to get across.
It's a neat trick, but it only works once, you know? And they do it 5 times.
20,000 times here. Just swinging across gorges. They're tossing this, it's like a epidural needle full of a cure, and they get across, and this whole time he's fighting Dracula. They have this big CG fight that looks like dog shit, flying around a cool set, but again, just looks bad. The design of Dracula, the monster, looks pretty rough.
Also, lighting is abysmal. Like,
oh god, dude,
it's just so muddy, and it's just like, it's hard to look at times.
It's just ugly.
It's really one of those things where, like, video games are just better. Like, I love movies. I love that we're doing a movie podcast, but, like, at least you give those a little bit more leeway, because you're like, well, all right, I get the point. You know, whereas this, it's like, what's the point?
It's
if you're going to make it look this bad.
True, there is no point.
Yeah.
Again,
no, 100%.
Usually, on most of the episodes we've done so far, we can usually, if we fucking got this out of Daredevil, we could get, like, subtext and shit out of Daredevil. There is nothing.
Which is, again, we kind of have everybody should be Catholic is I think what we're leading on. Is
absolutely is that is our main theme. Is very I said, we're establishing ourselves as both a Catholic and a Colin Farrell podcast. But
sure.
I'm just blown away that we could watch Daredevil and we can extract themes and subtext and stuff from fucking Daredevil, but we're watching this and just like, there is nothing to glean from this movie. This movie has nothing to say.
It's all surface level. I mean, they name him Gabriel. Dracula's like, you're actually Gabriel the Archangel, and that's why you killed me. And it's like,
but he's also he's Gabriel Van Helsing, not Abraham. He's like, it's our own thing, but same idea.
Yeah,
he's a.
You're just gonna say it? Okay, cool. So yeah, they. Oh, and this whole time there's they've resurrected. They've used the monster. There's another brood of those, like, you know, children, vampires.
Yeah, you have to have one more group of them.
Yeah, one more group of them. Which it's very funny because the way Dracula talks about that, like having the kids and stuff like that, is actually very like 2000s stand-up comedian. And he's like, I wouldn't, but my wives, they all want kids. It's just like, what are you talking about?
I mean, I think you know what? I will give this movie credit. I know you didn't think it was coming. Interesting. Dracula has the best motivations outside of Kate Beckinsale in this movie, in that, like, his last affront to God is proving that he can create life, even though his curse is that he's to remain dead forever. So like I kind of get as a motivation for a Dracula, great motivations, terrible performance, terrible actor playing him. Or I mean, you know what I mean? Like no shade, but it's just at the same time, it's like that's a good motivation.
I think all the
he's living outside of the. He's living outside the realm of God, and he's just trying to create life, which is why he allied with Frankenstein at the same time. It's the whole like we want to live somehow as an affront to God outside of his circle of influence. They're ultimately brought down by agents of, you know what I mean? And like that's an interesting thing. It's like even if they are like little bat babies, like that's supposed to be the origin of Dracula's bats. You know, but can you like show me that? Can you show me that like he actually cares about doing that? Why is it so important to him?
Yeah.
He just acts like he has to do it, but he also acts like his wives are disposable. It's the whole like I get it, you can be evil, but you can be like evil to the average person in that your means don't make any fucking sense. But you should be also like be like I can understand and I can sympathize and I can almost be like fuck, I low-key kind of like a good villain. They got to be not so corny. They got to be like literally a good bit terrifying. We're like, the best kind of on their side. They make a good point.
The best villains have motivation that you, as a person, while you don't agree with it, you can understand where they're coming from. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Batman the Animated Series
don't justify the means
for years as kids. You know, it's like you didn't like what they were doing, but you understood their motivations, and that generally makes for the best villains. And this. And again, I want to make it clear that I don't blame the actors of this movie because I think the actors are all pretty decent actors, and it's that thing of like they had nothing to work with. There is nothing to work with in this.
It's
movie.
all like, surface level. It's just
what are you supposed to do?
CG. What are you acting across from? I mean, what if the scene is like, okay, so now you say sorry and you you spray a thing in their face and they fall asleep. Like, how do you make that? There's no way to act that correctly. That's just stupid.
I was saying like the. To go back to the Van Helsing thing too is like what's his fucking motivation, man? Like why does he have to listen to what the Vatican says?
Yeah,
because it's like he has no
with the Vatican.
He also isn't like so close with Kate Beckinsale that he's like I'm low-key in love with this woman. I don't want her to suffer the fate.
I couldn't figure out what
doesn't really happen.
No chemistry. They try to have chemistry the whole time. Zero chemistry. They finally have a kiss, and it's the most non-sexual kiss I've ever seen.
It's so just like okay.
And then so anyway, we're almost there, guys. We're gonna finish this thing out. They have the fight. The moon goes away for like a second, so he turns into a human. That's when he kind of explains the shit to him for some reason, and then he turns back into a werewolf, kills Dracula. Everything's saved except he's still a werewolf. And then that's when Kate Beckinsale shows up, and they inject him with the thing, but he like tackles her. He doesn't. Yeah,
importantly, he kills Dracula before he kills her.
He kills Dracula before that, and then Kate shows up to give him the serum, and he tackles her to death. He just hits her once, and she's dead.
So
we've also spent 90 minutes of the movie watching her, like even from the let's capture a werewolf to the vampire brides attacking her 9 times. Like she gets thrown around and like thrown through windows and like dropped from fucking 90 feet in the air, and she parkours out of all of it, or just like takes it to the corset, you know?
Yeah,
this tackled onto a couch.
This scene like genuinely confused me because I didn't understand how she died. I didn't get it at all. I don't get why there was
okay. Can I fix it? Can I fix it for you guys in a quick second?
Yes.
Okay, so remember that they have like the telescopic crosses with the spikes in it, the silver spikes.
Right.
Could have been that like while it won't kill him, it'll distract him long enough for Van Helsing to say become a werewolf. It could have been that Dracula throws it into the couch or throws it into whatever with the crucifix and everything like that. And when he tackles her, he accidentally impales her on the fucking weapon that he needed to use to destroy Dracula in the first place.
That would be
and
great.
There you fucking go. There you fuck. I'm not even like I'm not trying to do the fucking thing where I'm like actually the story should be completely different and this person's the main character, which is also the case with this one. But it's the here's a simple fix. He could have done it in reshoots, and it would have been an actual tragic element rather than why isn't she moving? She looks fine. She literally doesn't even have
she doesn't have any bruises,
like a broken neck.
She doesn't have any blood.
Her eyes are just open. There's no blood. There's no nothing. It also leads to the most reproduced, I feel like, image of fan art type of stuff you'd get from.
Oh, I took a picture of it. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah, it's naked werewolf holding Kate Beckinsale out. It's
holding goth mommy girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. Right before he transforms back into Van Helsing, bawling his eyes out because he killed Kate Beckinsale. So yeah, that's the end. They
the real end.
They
burn her.
Funeral. Oh, it's important. They have a funeral with her. They're about to burn her body in a pyre, and he looks up in the sky and sees the Lion King version of this hunting family. You see you see her and her brother and her dad and like all their generations of kids. Just like, not kids, I guess adults, but like, you just see all these people's faces in the clouds, Lion King style, and they're all smiling, going
Simba.
to
Simba. Dude,
Van Helsing.
No, they're like...
So it's like, he's like, by technicality, I did kill him 30 seconds before I killed her. Huh. I was cogent enough as an insane rampaging monster. I was cogent enough as an insane rampaging monster to kill Dracula still, because I know that's the real mission. But I completely forgot it when my girlfriend shows up.
Yeah, dude.
You know, like it's yeah.
Again, I did not want this to be the like hate on the movie podcast, but man, this movie made it really hard. In fact, my last note that I wrote in this, I just wrote arrest everyone involved in this movie.
So, speaking of arresting people who were involved in this movie, apparently the studio hated the Lion King ending. And, like, that was one of their biggest notes, where they're like, you have to fix that. But they did test audiences, and all test audiences said, that's fine. Actually, we like it that way. It lets us know. It turns
out every test audience...
So that test audience is the way we got it.
In the planet, yeah.
Yeah, it's all...
Yeah, literally, it was a church fucking group, like, going like, no, but we need to know that they're in heaven, otherwise... What was the point of defeating the devil in the first place? And that
it's so very stupid. But yeah, that's
Van Helsing.
And next
that's
up,
Van Helsing.
Transylvania, the TV series. It's coming soon, right?
Yes.
yeah. Any day now, the sequel is coming.
Which, by the way, looking up, I do my homework. If there's a movie that has supplemental material and I can't find like the DVD extras or whatever, like I'll look up just to be like, let's find a retrospective, or let's find like I need to know something about the production, which is where a lot of my trivia and tidbits come from. But it's so funny the amount of AI made Van Helsing 2 trailers I've seen, which all feature Hugh Jackman with Scarlett Johansson as a 25 years later, he's still doing it thing. And I was losing my mind. One of them autoplayed by mistake, and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? And it just goes to show that there are some people out there who are not only truly insane, but need to be either we need to bring mental hospitals back, but mental hospitals that just execute you.
Just for the Van Helsing 2 heads. No, they're
again,
because I kept seeing things where people were talking about Van Helsing sequels, and I looked up. I just searched Van Helsing 2, and the amount of Reddit posts that are like, "Hey, I'm working on Van Helsing 2. It's my unofficial Van Helsing 2 movie that I'm working on." There's so many posts of it, and it baffled me in a way that I hadn't been baffled in a long time.
Yeah. So again, the tragedy of this is the fact that, like I said, at the time, I was so in on the marketing. I bought into it. I rented the game. I had a blast. The game is better than the movie. If you ever get a chance to find it on eBay, it's like $9. You're not doing yourself a disserce.
They made pumpkin carving stencils from pumpkin.
Yes,
masters.
they did. I had that.
Yeah,
I had the flyer.
So the marketing was off the fucking rails. I at the time was just so willing to embrace this. I only watched it the one time, and then after that, my parents went and saw it, and they're like, "That's the worst piece of shit we've ever seen in our lives." And I was like, "Ooh, sorry, I was not insisting that you watch it. I just was like, you know what though, that one time was good enough for me. It doesn't need to be revisited. And now that we've revisited it, I'm a little upset. I mean, I'm glad that I met somebody else who's had Hunter, who has. You see, hey, you carried it. Go for you carried it on the plot where I lost my fucking mind.
I don't want to make the impression that I love this movie or something like that. I will say this. This week I've been trying to get into the Halloween mode because I want to put up my decorations. I'm trying to get into fall. It's tough. It is so hot here. It's not fall. Like,
yeah, it's still 100-something degrees in Texas.
Same here.
I like this time of year though, so I'm like, I like Halloween. I enjoy stuff like this. I really love Universal Monsters. I'm a really big fan. So like, there's a lot of stuff here that should be for me, and it's even giving it all the graces in the world. If it was like 45 minutes shorter, I'd be all for it. And it's just too long, man. If you wanted to do something this dumb and made it shorter, like a tight 90, I'd even be there for that. I'd say it's forgettable.
I said, like, I'm not against the idea of being too ambitious, but this was too ambitious, and then too reliant on the fact that, like, some dork with a computer in 2004 is gonna fix it up and make it
fix
look,
it
and
in
like,
post. Yeah, we're gonna get it.
That's why I'm saying, I think a good direct analog of this movie is the first Pirates of the Caribbean, because I feel like they had similar intention with the movies. Pirates of the Caribbean became a fucking phenomenon. It kept Hot Topic alive for the next 30 years. With all the Jack Sparrow stuff, and
when we do that one, that's going to be like a special edition. Like that might be like episode 1 of the Patreon, where I'm like, it's a very special movie to me. Like I wouldn't even talk about the plot. Like I'll just talk about how into that movie I was when it first came out, and it was like no hype train. Like I went into it thinking it would suck, and I was like, that might be my favorite fucking movie. Holy shit,
Yeah, and you watch it, and you realize that because Bruckheimer produced it, and you go, this is what happens when you have a real producer on a movie.
And you also let the screenwriters write like 9 drafts of it where they're like, it's still not tight enough. Like, please tighten it up a little bit more. And it's on the screen when they drop the Dolby Vision 4Ks on Disney Plus. I was like, let me rewatch the first one, and I was like, this is like straight up one of the tightest written movies for this genre I've ever seen.
When you have a production company that's a real professional, been around production company like that.
Well, and it's all
when
you
look at this, this is directed by, written by, produced by Steven Sommers. Like nothing against him. Again, he's obviously a fan of these properties.
Can we talk about the?
It's all vertically integrated. Like you can't escape it.
Vertical integration is a good way of describing everything about this movie. Yes. But the biggest tragedy is the first credited card is written and directed by Steven Sommers, made for my dad, and I felt like the knife go right into my heart where I'm like, I'm glad your dad is dead.
Yeah, the fact that your dad didn't have to see this.
Because he did not have to see this.
It's a miracle.
I immediately know. Again, talking about efficient, it's the only efficient line written in the movie is for my dad. I'm like, I bet you his dad showed him the fucking Bela Lugosi, the fucking Wolfman, the fucking Creature from the Black Lagoon. He watched Bride of Frankenstein, all the Brides of Dracula, all that shit, and it probably gave him the inspirational follow through on his career
and become a director, become a movie. And he was a success with the money.
Heartbreaking.
Hunter brought up he did the
thing to
90s,
dedicate to anybody.
He did the 90s Jungle Book live action movie, and I remember kind of liking that movie. I remember not.
I liked it because it was genuinely so different from the Disney one because it was an actual adaptation.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so it's like it's not like this guy's a horrible director or anything. It's just I think you're right. I think he was just too in his own feelings. I think this movie comes from too much of a real place for him to where he.
This
couldn't.
was Steven Sommers.
It's the. This was I'll never get another one. Yes. It's they'll never give me this much money to go this off the fucking rails. Which again, I saw Megalopolis in theaters last year. Like on one hand, it's like I'm gonna sell everything I own to fucking just put it all on the screen. Nobody stopping me. Which which ultimately makes it interesting. That's you just don't get that anymore. But again, and I think you get some of the most interesting shit that way.
Like him or not, has things to say, and has beliefs, and has.
Yeah, which I don't agree with, nor like at all.
Right,
but at least they're his.
But Steven Sommers, I don't think he's a very deep guy. I don't think he has.
No, he just likes these things, and this is pre-Marvel. Nobody actually wanted to cross over. Nobody wanted to cross over anything in that time. Like there was, of course, ideas of what if we put Tobey Spider-Man with Hugh Jackman X-Men, but people are like, we can't do that. It's too fucking out there for everybody. So he is kind of low key ahead of the curve. The fact that they spent how many fucking millions of dollars trying to plan out an entire with Tom Cruise attached, no less.
Again,
this an entire
inspired
universe.
The next 15, 20 years of film. What good or bad?
For the worst, not even good. For the worst, but yes.
But in the fact that hey, this is a movie where this is going to be the next franchise. We're filming this to be a franchise. We want the toys, we want the video games, we want sequels, we want spin-offs. It could have been a TV show. It had video games. I think they wanted this to be the next thing, and there was just nothing behind it.
and then I had to watch the Dark Universe fail again and
again. Hunter, one day you'll be vindicated.
Well, this is the funny thing now is they finally nailed the Dark Universe. All this is a section of Universal Studios, which apparently is awesome. I want to go check it out, but it took them forever to get there. I just remember thinking back on every time they try to relaunch the thing, that image that always pops up with Tom Cruise and all those guys just standing
Javier
around,
and Johnny Depp.
Yeah, this is the Dark Universe. This is here.
Literally one woman, Sofia Boutella, who they killed in the first one.
Great stuff. And I just remember after seeing that image, and then they showed the first, I think it was during the Super Bowl, they showed the first preview for The Mummy, and the audio was fucked up, and it didn't have any, all it was just like you heard the sound of like, oof,
oh yeah.
I remember and I was like, man, that's an interesting choice. They artistically didn't have like sound. Like they didn't do music in this. That's a weird scene. And then it comes out that was all screwed up. I'm like, oh, perfect, great.
Oh, there
great
we go.
start.
Yep,
we're on a good beginning. So yeah, that's
I like a good nobody wins story every once in a while. Like they throw them your way, just so you're aware that can happen, because you never want to be the next person that happens to.
Exactly, but you know what? It's a Halloween. It's a monster-filled movie. We got our monsters. We got some of our monsters. We got another monster theme. We got another Halloween episode coming up. We're actually doing 2 Halloween episodes next to Silent Hill, right?
Yeah, Silent Hill.
We're doing Silent Hill, but also gear yourselves up, guys. We're gonna do Jackass, and I'm just going to call it out now so we could have to hold to it. We are going to be moving to weekly episodes once we get the schedules lined up, but we're going to have them in the tank. We're going to give you guys heads up on what to watch before we talk about them. But also, hey, man, sometimes you don't need to watch. You just sometimes listen to us talk about it, and you're like, what the fuck? And then go watch it yourself and form your own opinion, which is really the point. I never want to give anybody, like, there's a consensus on anything. I think you should develop your own tastes. But if you are a aged out millennial or Gen Z kid who's like, I don't know what the fuck all this shit is, use this as a frame of reference. Let's just see where it goes. And then when the Patreon comes out, you better give us $5.
And also like, subscribe, leave comments. Did you know you can leave comments on Spotify? Because I just learned that. And
I learned now. We've been learning.
I don't know.
So you leave comments on Spotify. I don't know. Check us out. Spread us around. I think we're having fun here, and this is a turn off the century, turn off the damn podcast, and you don't have to watch this movie.
Just get out.
Turn off the spook.
Get the fuck out of here. I hate it.
All right.